Welcome to Hope for Your Pelvic Floor, the podcast where we stop managing women's symptoms and start making sense of their bodies. I'm Claire Sparrow, Pilates educator, pelvic health specialist, and best-selling author. And here we talk honestly about what women are told, what the evidence actually says, and how real change happens. This is our season finale for season 5 of Hope for Your Pelvic Floor. I wanted to jump in with a slightly different episode today, a little bit of reflection. I also have an apology because we missed an episode last week. I was off traveling in Tokyo, teaching and presenting the whole body pelvic health method there. And it just wasn't possible for me to get an episode ready and out in time. So we missed a week. So sincere apologies for that. I know that a lot of you are waiting for the episodes to land, and it must have felt a little strange that there wasn't one there for you. But we are here today, and I will be wrapping up the season, ready for a little bit of a break. During the break, what I would love you to do is go back and revisit some of your favorite episodes, some of the episodes that maybe taught you something, some of the episodes that maybe inspired or motivated you, perhaps journaling on what it specifically was about the episode that stood out, that was relevant to you. Is it still relevant to you? Is there a shift or a change that's occurred since you listened to that episode? I think that will be a really helpful way to use the gap, because we always have a gap in August in the show. The other things that you can do, you can access the YouTube channel where there's short classes and tutorials that you can work on for free. You can download the whole body pelvic health app. It's also free. On the app, you'll find the episodes of the podcast. You'll find my blog posts. There's also classes there. If you're a member, you can log into your classes there. So there's lots available to you. And as you already know, there's the brand new Beyond Kegels course. This is specifically focusing on incontinence, the different types of incontinence, why the exercises need to vary depending upon which type of incontinence you have, and really giving you the skills to manage and understand that in your own body and really learn that in your own body. So it's a short course, Beyond Kegels. And I'll put all of these links to support you at the end. What I was going to talk to you a little bit about today was my recent trip to Tokyo that I mentioned. It's been an amazing whirlwind. And to be honest, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Which time zone am I actually in as I record this for you today? I am literally just back in the UK from being over in Japan, being in Tokyo and sharing some work there. And I just thought there was some really interesting takeaways for me. It taught me a lot about the importance of the pelvic health work that I'm sharing. It was really, really fascinating experience, and a beautiful country, beautiful, just the sense of calm and order in a really nice way. And the environment there, everybody was very polite. I felt very looked after within the conference and everybody involved with that, very much so. And also just in the community in general. And it was just clean and great food. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I do hope that I will go and share some work there again in the future, because it really was an exquisite place to visit and teach in. The environment was the annual Pilates conference for Polestar Pilates in Japan. As most of you know, I'm a Polestar Pilates educator. I've really hung my hat there. I really believe in the values, the mission, the method of Polestar. So it really feels such an honor when I get invited as an educator from the UK to go and support other teams of teachers in different areas of the world. So it felt really wonderful to go and be with the team in Japan, all of these teachers from all over Japan. I was there for 2 days for the conference. I was the only presenter there. And in one of the days, I was really sharing the whole body pelvic health method. And I'm sharing to only teachers. It's only Pilates teachers that are there. And they're experienced, all qualified, and some with like decades of teaching experience, and some who are educators just like myself. And even although I was so far away from home and not in an English speaking country, even in a place with different value systems and beliefs and the language, that it was amazing actually how many people had such excellent English. And I had the most wonderful experienced translator there who was able to really express what I was teaching into Japanese to the students, the teachers on the conference. She did an amazing job. So it was a professional conference, and I'm there sharing something really important to me, what I share with you every week, and all this way away from Leeds. What I think I realized it over and over again. Sometimes you have to realize the same lesson. You have to have the same lesson over and over again. What I realized is that even although I was there in Tokyo, the essence of the questions and the desire to learn was completely the same. It was the same real deep desire to help women, deep longing to do the right thing, to learn the best ways to really support women with prolapse, women with pelvic pain, women with incontinence. And it wasn't any different to anywhere else. The love, it felt like true. And it always does when teachers are asking me questions, there's a real sense of love for this potential relief that they can give to the women that they're teaching. And the reason I'm sharing all of this with you is, maybe you're a teacher. Most of you listening, you're a woman who's curious about pelvic health and what you can do to support yourself. And all of those same worries about prolapse, about incontinence, they're all the same everywhere. The fear, the worry, the desire to improve, all of it is the same. Like, it is the same everywhere. And the Pelvic Health Cafe, for example, this is somewhere else where we hear the same worries, the same fears, the same questions. Whether you're a teacher or whether you're a client exploring this, it's all the same. Everywhere, it is all the same. So, nearly 6,000 miles and the questions didn't change in the room. It's the same wherever it is. And in Tokyo, it really proved to me in a way that, no textbook could really show, is that wherever you go in the world, whoever you're teaching, when it comes to pelvic health, the needs of women don't change. They just do not change. Different culture, different language, same bodies, and too often the same silence around them. This piece, it comes up time and time again. Some of the teachers in the workshop even came to me afterwards and shared, once they'd gone back to teaching, that because they'd told their clients they'd done the workshop with me, the clients then said to them, "Oh yes, I really suffer with this pelvic health concern." And that happens time and time again. I've shared before that the same was true for me when I started saying out loud that I'm really focusing on the pelvic floor and the whole body relationship. Women that I've taught for decades started to say, oh yes, this is true for me. I experience prolapse or I experience incontinence. Do you think that we could do something about that? And this exists everywhere. It's not a Japanese thing or a British thing. It is just everywhere. Women's needs, fears, questions, all of it is the same everywhere. And that's why we're here. This is why the podcast exists, to try and break down the silence, to try and answer the questions, to say the unspoken things so that I can help maybe bridge the gap and support. So this moment, where we start all of the whole body pelvic health with breath. You've heard me go on, and I'm like a broken record, and I'm going to continue as such because we started the workshop with breath. So at the conference, all of these teachers, super experienced, and we started with breath. Not with the pelvic floor, not with looking at the anatomy of the pelvic floor, but actually with breath. Not pinpointing a problem, not picking on the muscles of the pelvic floor in isolation, but with breath. So, the emphasis on breath is the same wherever I go. And I wasn't sure how it would land with such an experienced group of teachers. And of course, I question, I'm the same as everybody else. I'm thinking, well, this is obvious to me. This is surely something that everybody will know already. And then I watched this incredible room full of highly experienced teachers feel the penny drop. I could hear the energy shift, the change in mindset happening, that the pelvic floor is not a separate little sling to be trained on its own. It's not like a trampoline. It's part of a whole body system that moves with every single breath you take and relies on the movement, the capacity of movement in all of the structures of your breath. And when the breath changes, the pelvic floor changes. And honestly, you could see it land in their bodies before it landed in their scribblings, their notebooks, and their journaling. They were feeling it. They were looking at each other. They were acknowledging the space, the volume, the connectedness, the calmness, the centeredness. There was a feeling of finding their center, which is a phrase that's used in Pilates forever. Use your center. Some of those teachers were truly accessing their center in a way they hadn't before. It was huge. So this moment was arriving in the room where something was truly shifting from information that I was bringing and giving to true understanding in their own body. And I got to see it all happen in a language that I don't even speak. I could tell that this was happening as they were talking to each other and sharing what had changed for them. And those of you who have been here listening for a while, and you might remember that last season's finale was about the moment the penny dropped for me on an intensive anatomy course where, everything I knew became something I could see and feel. Well, this finale is the other half of that story. This time it wasn't me having that light bulb moment. It was all of those teachers. It was watching it happen in those teachers with decades of experience, all on the other side of the world. It's just amazing to really have had that opportunity to see. And what I want to share for you, why is this relevant to you, is because if teachers, seasoned professionals, are still having this penny drop, then please hear me. If nobody ever taught you that your breath and your pelvic floor work together, You've not failed at kegels. You're not bad at pelvic floor exercises. Your body is not broken. You were simply given the wrong starting point, and you cannot fail at something you were never actually shown. That's the key here. So whilst I've shared with you today about teachers, they're still growing and learning. They know, they've learned about breath, and experiencing it in their own bodies in relation to pelvic floor function is where the penny really dropped for them. And I want you to really sit with that and know that, that makes you know that you're not alone. You're not unique if you're feeling like the pelvic floor exercises haven't worked, or you're feeling like maybe there's more for your pelvic floor. There probably is. And it truly can begin with your breath. So I came back so full, so aware of the similarities worldwide, and this connection, this important connection to breath that I take so much for granted. And I think it's just made me reflect a little bit of reflection. And in that reflection, also closing out the season, thinking about all the topics we've covered and the incredible feedback that you've given over this season. And, we had recently an episode 57 I was sharing with you. This was the one where wearing a pad isn't giving up, how to tell if it's helping you or if it's holding you back. I talked about that shame. Actually, for some women, we can really work on that feeling of being ashamed and actually turn it into information, a tool to help support you rather than a verdict that you're stuck with. And, that's the same silence, that shame that I met in Tokyo, and the same way through it. We have to move through it. And then we had, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten until I started really reflecting on the season. We'd had this viral post. I went viral for telling the truth about kegels. I mean, good grief. I've never seen anything like it. This reel popped off, and it really was spelling out, as I've done in the episode, spelling out the different types of incontinence. And again, it really makes me think about how much I take for granted. And I really hadn't appreciated until this year that women genuinely don't know the different types of incontinence and why it matters that we know the different types. And so that's been huge. And we talked a lot about that in the episode 49. And then recently we did an episode all about your little checklist, your pelvic floor checklist, so that you can exercise without fear. And this is what I do on a daily basis when I exercise, whether I'm here in my studio doing Pilates or whether I'm down at the gym lifting weight. I go through that checklist that I shared with you. And it was really about learning to listen and read your body rather than being in fear of it or fearing the prolapse or fearing the incontinence, using the information that your body gives you and then building from there, which is so important. And that's what I saw when I was in Tokyo, that we were really able to layer on from that breathing and really understanding the relationship to the pelvic floor to quite advanced exercises, which felt surprising for them and also really hopeful. It made them feel very optimistic about what was available in their own bodies and what was also available for their clients that they work with. That whether someone has a pelvic floor condition or not, that doesn't mean, if someone's got incontinence, or maybe it's somebody who's got osteoporosis, we still can invite really exciting opportunities for movement and challenging movements. In the UK, the teachers always say to me, oh, I really want to do some of the big moves. The big ones, all the full body movements on the reformer or on the ladder bar or whatever it might be, the big moves. And I really have this kind of expectation in a way because I want to always be able to do the big moves. I think we need to continue to encourage and invite opportunities to do those. It's really, really important actually to me. So yeah, that's my kind of reflections on being in Tokyo and what it taught me and just how important it is for us all to remember that we're in it together. We have just not had the information that we need. And now, as you listen to the Hope for Your Pelvic Floor podcast with me, this is the place to give you those insights and to give you that information that hopefully will empower you to take control, take charge. And because underneath every single episode, the season was about one thing. It was replacing fear and isolation with really understanding a whole body approach. And that's it. That's the whole gamut, the whole project, the whole thing, whether it's a listener here in the UK or a master teacher in Tokyo who's been squeezing for 20 years. The tonic or the medicine is the same. It's understanding, connection, and breath first. Breath first. That's it. So we'll be taking a bit of a break now. We'll have a break between seasons. Because it's the summer here, I do take a slightly longer break. We'll be back in September. And I want you to give yourself that little activity that I suggested at the beginning. Go back, listen to some episodes, journal on what stood out to you and why. Is it still landing in the same way for you as you re-listen to when you first listened to it? And of course, you can go ahead and jump into the Beyond Kegels course, where even if you're a member, there's a lot of information and fun classes for you to do. You know that whole body pelvic health, the method, is for incontinence, and we have classes that have a variety in it so that it will be sure to target all of your needs. And if you just want to have some different classes over and above the membership, you can jump into Beyond Kegels. That is there for you. And if the podcast has meant something to you this season, the single most powerful thing you can do is to share an episode with a friend who you know needs it. That's how hope travels. Tokyo reminded me it can travel a lot further than we think. This is for sure. So I hope to I hope to speak to you all and have you here for the next season, season 6. That's bonkers. We're going to be jumping into season 6 in September. Thank you so much for listening, for your messages, for the reviews, and also sharing with me your stories of hope, the achievements, the wins that you've had for your pelvic health. You're the reason, all of you, you're the reason that I record the podcast every week. You're the reason that it gets to all of the far-flung corners of the world, beyond what I could ever have imagined. So I really appreciate all that you do to support the podcast. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next season. Take care of yourself and remember, breath first. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this. You're not broken, you're not behind, and you're not alone.